Once upon a time in a kingdom where everyone was happy and always dancing, the king and queen had a baby girl. They called her Snow White because her skin was as pure as snow. Sadly, the queen died in childbirth, thus the king tried to raise the little girl by himself, but as Snow White reached puberty, the king realized his daughter needed a female influence in her life. The king sought out a new queen and found a woman so gorgeous that he was bewitched by her beauty and begged her to marry him. One day, stories of a beast in the forest reached the king's ears and he left to defend his kingdom, but first, he said goodbye to his daughter and gifted her his favorite dagger. Unfortunately, the king was never seen again, and a devastated Snow White was left in the care of her stepmother, who soon showed her true colors. 10 years pass, and the kingdom has fallen into an icy despair. Queen Clementina barely pays any attention to her responsibilities, preferring to spend the royal fortune on parties and dresses. There are rumors of the kingdom being close to destitute, so the nobles wish the queen would remarry to bring back stability to their lands. However, instead of tackling the problem, Clementina sends orders to punish any person that spreads those rumors. She isn't kind to Princess Snow White either. The girl is never allowed to leave the castle, and when the queen's having a party, Snow White isn't even allowed to leave her room. On her 18th birthday, Snow White tries to sneak out to attend the gala, but Clementina pulls her hair as she scolds her and sends her back. Meanwhile in the forest, Prince Andrew is trying to find adventure, although his valet Charles is more worried about the stories of a beast hiding here. Suddenly, they're attacked by a group of 7 weirdly shaped figures that sword fight against Andrew to get his gold. Andrew is quite good and manages to defend himself at first, but 7 against 1 is a terrible disadvantage and soon Andrew loses. Then, the figures reveal they're actually a group of 7 dwarves wearing special suits during their stealing missions. These dwarves leave Andrew and Charles on the ground while they get the gold, but when Andrew laughs at them and calls them children, the dwarves decide to punish him before leaving. This is how Andrew and Charles end up hanging upside down from a tree with no clothes on. Back in the castle, Margaret and the other servants surprise Snow White in private, offering a little cupcake with a candle for her to blow. These servants are the only friends Snow White has ever had, and they keep working for the evil queen, hoping one day Snow White will take over the throne. Margaret has also polished the king's dagger and she hands it to Snow White as she convinces her to sneak out of the castle to see the state of the kingdom that should be hers. In the meantime, Clementina goes to her room to activate her magic mirror, which takes her to her magical mirror house. There lives her reflection, the Mirror Queen, who reminds Clementina that she's getting old no matter how much she tries to hide it, so she shouldn't be picky about her 6th husband. Money is running out, meaning Clementina needs to marry soon. After lots of thinking, Snow White leaves the castle through the front door because the guards accept to cover for her. While crossing the forest, she comes across Andrew and Charles, thus she uses her dagger to cut the rope and free them. Snow White and Andrew are instantly smitten with each other, but sadly, they're going in different directions. Andrew and Charles eventually make it to the castle and apologize for their state of undress, explaining they've been robbed by giants. Clementina is extremely attracted to Andrew, and when she hears he's the prince of a bountiful land, she decides he must be her next husband. Her plan is to throw a party to impress him and propose, but her advisor and bootlicker Brighton points out they don't have money to throw a big party like that. Clementina sends him to collect more taxes, and when Brighton explains people are too poor, the queen orders him to come up with some excuse. Back to Snow White, she's made it to town and she's shocked to find how destitute people have become under the queen's heavy taxation. The singing, dancing, and happiness she saw as a child when she visited with the king are nowhere to be seen. At that moment, Brighton arrives to announce the new taxes, claiming the queen needs the money to protect the kingdom from the evil that lurks in the woods and is behind all the recent attacks. At the castle, Andrew sends Charles back to their home in order to get gold, clothes, and guards. Charles is hesitant because he thinks the queen is crazy, but Andrew assures him he'll be fine. Afterward, Snow White comes back and tells Margaret about the town as she cries over having seen her father's hard work destroyed. In return, Margaret tells her they'll be having a party with a prince, pointing out that Snow White should attend and try to get the prince's help to take back the kingdom. Before the party, Clementina goes through a very strict spa treatment that includes disgusting things like parrot excrement and insects to make her look young. In the evening when the ball begins, Clementina tries to get the prince as her dancing partner, but a noble that wants to marry her gets to her first. Andrew ends up dancing with Snow White, and the two of them banter and flirt for a while. Unfortunately, when Snow White is about to ask for his help, the queen sees her, causing her to run away. Sadly, she's caught by the guards and taken to the queen. Snow White takes the chance to call her out for all the damage she's done to the kingdom, accidentally mentioning she's been to town. Since Snow White has broken multiple rules today, Clementina decides her punishment shall be death and orders Brighton to take her to the forest to feed the beast. On their way out, Snow White notices the queen's moon necklace is sparklier than usual. Once they make it to the forest though, Brighton can't bring himself to do it, so he cuts the ropes that tie Snow White, telling her to run and never come back. Brighton returns to the castle and tells the queen that he did it, presenting animal organs pretending to be Snow White's as proof. Meanwhile, Snow White runs through the woods until she accidentally bumps against a small house under a tree trunk, hitting her head and losing consciousness. It's morning by the time she wakes up, finding herself inside the house, which turns out it belongs to the 7 dwarves. These dwarves want to ask the queen for money in exchange for the princess, so Snow White has to explain that won't work because Clementina wants her dead, meaning she needs help. At first, the dwarves are scared that helping her would get her killed as well, but after Snow White begs, they accept to let her stay one night. Back to Brighton, he tells all the servants that Snow White is dead but also that they still must work, then he goes to town to get the new taxes money. His carriage takes the forest road to return to the castle, so the dwarves take the chance to attack him and steal the tax gold plus the guard's armor. Afterward, the dwarves return home, where Snow White is waiting for them with dinner ready. She recognizes the stolen armor, meaning the dwarves have no choice but to confess they're thieves that stole the queen's money. Snow White gets angry, explaining the town is poor and needs the money, but the dwarves don't care because the townspeople hate them. When the queen expelled all the undesirables years ago, banishing anyone she considered ugly, nobody in town stood up for the dwarves, who used to have legit jobs. Suddenly, an argument ensues among the dwarves about the details of their old lives, and Snow White takes advantage of the distraction to run away with the money. They chase after her until they find her in town, giving back the money to their original owners. Instead of taking the credit though, Snow White tells everyone that the dwarves were the ones to take the gold back and the queen had lied about them. This instantly cleans their reputation. At the castle, Clementina is having lunch with Andrew while trying to flirt with him, but he can only think about Snow White, so the queen tells him the princess died in the forest. Then, she tries to propose, but the conversation is interrupted by the return of Brighton in only his underwear. When Brighton explains he was robbed, Andrew gets indignant at this happening again and rushes out to get revenge. In the forest, the dwarves agree to allow Snow White to stay with them, but under a few conditions. If she wants to be with them, then she needs to like them, meaning she must become a thief. Snow White doesn't want to steal from the people, but the plan would be to steal from the queen to get back at her. This makes Snow White agree as long as they bring back what they steal to the town citizens. Afterward, the dwarves train her in all sorts of skills to make her the perfect thief, including sword fighting and how to use her sweet looks in her favor, since people will underestimate her. They also get her new clothes. Now that she is ready, the group gets ready for their first mission, where Snow White pretends to be a poor lost girl to catch a traveler's attention and ambush them. The traveler that ends up falling for it is Andrew, who has come to the forest with a bunch of guards for revenge. The dwarves jump on the guards while Snow White goes against Andrew, which begins as being happy to see each other again until they misunderstand the situation. Andrew now thinks Snow White is a heartless thief, and Snow White thinks Andrew is working with the queen. As the dwarves defeat all the guards without trouble, Snow White and Andrew fight fiercely while bantering at the same time. When she finds herself overpowered, Snow White uses a trick to make Andrew's horse kick him, then she knocks him out with a punch. Later, Andrew returns to the castle in only his underwear again and calls the queen out for having lied to him about Snow White's death. He also accidentally mentions the thieves are dwarves instead of giants. Upset over discovering she can't trust Brighton nor the prince, Clementina rushes to her mirror house to think of a new plan. The mirror queen reminds her she's using too much magic and that comes with a price, but Clementina doesn't care, determined to punish the traitors. After transforming Brighton into a cockroach, the mirror queen gives Clementina a love potion to enchant Andrew like she had done with the king, although she thinks the queen should forget about the prince and find someone her age. Afterward, Clementina tricks Andrew and makes him drink the potion during a toast, but the result is quite weird. Andrew begins behaving like a dog. Clementina checks the bottle again and discovers it's a potion for puppy love, but as awkward as it is, she doesn't care. Andrew sees her as his master, which means he's loyal to her and accepts to get married. The news of the queen's marriage soon spread around the kingdom, and one of the dwarves hears about it at the local pub. When he brings the news home, it makes Snow White cry because without meaning to, she's fallen in love with Andrew. The bad news doesn't end there though. Since Clementina doesn't want anything going wrong, she asks the Mirror Queen for her help again. That's how 2 huge marionettes appear at the dwarves' house and begin attacking them. These marionettes are made of wood and therefore can't feel pain, which means the dwarves' attempts to defend themselves are useless. Fortunately, Snow White notices the strings attached to the marionettes and cuts them, which at the same time cuts their connection to the Mirror Queen and makes the marionettes become normal dolls again. The next morning, the dwarves discover Snow White is gone and she left only a letter saying that she loves them but she can't stay because she puts them in danger. The dwarves refuse to accept this and go looking for her. Thankfully she's still nearby and easy to find. Snow White listens to her friends telling her she's giving them a new chance in life, so now it's their turn to do the same for her, and the group agrees to crash the queen's wedding. At the castle, everyone is getting ready for the wedding, and Brighton becomes human again. Andrew still behaves like a dog because of the potion, and the guests blame it on him being a foreigner. Snow White and the dwarves sneak into the party through a variety of methods like hiding under ladies' dresses and knocking out the guards. By the time Clementina arrives at her own wedding, the thieves have already left with Andrew, and everyone else is waiting in their underwear. Furious, the gentry declares Clementina unfit to rule and deposes her. At the dwarves' house, they notice Andrew's weird behavior and come to the conclusion he must be under a spell. The dwarves try to make Andrew snap out of it through various methods like hitting him and tickling him, but nothing works. In the end, they decide to try the classic true love's kiss, and Snow White's kiss does the trick. Feeling sane again, Andrew apologizes to everyone for how he's treated them, but their conversation is interrupted by some noises outside. The beast is near. Thinking this is her fight, Snow White runs out alone and locks the door behind her to protect her friends. She ends up bumping into Clementina, who turns out to be the master of the beast. This reveal makes Snow White finally understand that it was the queen that killed her father. As Clementina sends the beast after the princess, Andrew asks the dwarves for a key and leaves the house, also locking it behind him. Fortunately, the dwarves have a spare copy and get to escape as well. While the queen runs back to her mirror house, the men join Snow White to fight the beast, which is too powerful to be stopped by normal people and their silly swords. During the struggle, Snow White accidentally drops her dagger, and the dwarves toss it back to her so she can use it on the beast. However, Snow White notices the moon necklace around the beast's neck matching the one the queen had, and she uses the dagger to cut the chain off. This ends the spell and reveals that the beast's real identity all along had been the king. This affects Clementina as well, who finally has to pay the price of using magic with her youth. Back to Snow White, she gets to reunite with her father, who promises to reward the group for their help. The dwarves get a feast and some gold, and Andrew gets Snow White's hand in marriage. During the wedding party, Clementina sneaks in thinking she won't be recognized now that she's an old woman. However, when she comes closer to give Snow White a cursed apple, the princess recognizes her and makes her bite the apple instead. This causes the last traces of magic to be defeated, which means the mirror house explodes and the eternal winter finally leaves the kingdom. The party ends with a spectacular musical number, and in the future, the dwarves get to have normal jobs again. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.